Hey, what's up, guys? Siri Emerald here. Welcome to the weekly live unboxing show, talk, whatever it is that we actually do. Let's see if we can't control some of these lights here. I need all that much light, do I? I think that should do it. Just give us what we need here. Turn this down just a bit. Getting it into position. All right. So, we're going to be doing the Spider Punk here in a minute. Give you first. Let's talk some what's hot and new and what the heck is going on. Holy cow! Did you happen to see the Spider-Man negative suit from PS4? This is an exclusive, so it's only going to be sold through actual Hot Toys, real life distributors or whatever, however you want to call that. Maybe I do need all this light. So like Sideshow or Toy Sapiens, the companies that are actually real Hot Toys distributors. Unlike Big Bad Toy Store, they sell Hot Toys, but they don't get them straight from Hot Toys. So also it's been limited at Sideshow, so only one person can get it. I have a feeling, however, this is going to be one of those figures that people are going to be like, not so interested in it. And then a couple years from now, they're going to be like, dang, I should have got a hold of that. It's unique. It's black and white. It's from the video game series. The images they are showing you, they've illuminated them with a blue light, possibly even the ultraviolet light. I'm not exactly sure why they just chose to do that in the video game, even though I've never played the video game. I've researched the video game. In the video game, the figure kind of has like this glowing effect, from my understanding, whenever he activates the power or something to that effect. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. So I don't know. Spider-Man negative suit. Also, some what's going on, Noble? Also, Bullethead has released pre-order for a Spider-Gwen from the multiverse. A Multiverse 2 movie has been announced. That'll be coming out next year or the year after. I don't remember. So we have another multiverse movie coming out. Spider-Gwen has been released by, or pre-order has been released by Bullethead. The head sculpt looks really bad, but the suit looks really good. And if you have no intention of showing her with her head and just using her mask, I don't see a problem with it. Young Rich Toys, who did the Miles Morales, which hasn't been shipped yet, but has been on pre-order for quite some time, announced a Peter B. Parker in two versions. One in his chubby Spider-Man, so he's pretty cool. He's got a little chubby tummy, and then one with his coat and sweatpants and a drink and a burger with some animated heads. So I was going to build a Peter B. Parker. I think I'm still going to build my Peter B. Parker, but I'm definitely going to be ordering that Young Rich Toys Peter B. Parker. I'm definitely going to get the Spider-Gwen also as well, even though the head sculpt is kind of not up to necessarily good standards. War Machine Neon was a pass, total pass for me. Complete and absolute, utter, and total pass for me. I mean, it's War Machine Mark 1, diecast, neon. I'm kind of over the neon. But I hope when they get around to making the big time Spider-Man from the PS4 game, and I pray that they do. I have a feeling that they will. I hope that they do like the neon thing with that. That would be sweet. It's a black suit with the green neon. So we got, what do we got? We have the blue neon, the yellow neon, the orange neon with the War Machine Mark 1. And now if they did the big time Spider-Man with the green in the neon, jeez, the ultraviolet, that'd be great. But no, I decided to pass on the War Machine Mark 1 neon tech. I just don't. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I don't know. It's the first one was neat. The second one was and I've spent so much money on them. It's not even funny. And the War Machine, I was like, I'm not even interested anymore. I do. I have the Neon and the Neon Tech 2.0, so the Mark 4 and the Mark 6. And I was really on the fence with the War Machine when I first seen it announced at San Diego Comic Con. But now I'm just like, yeah, you know what? I'm totally over it. After getting the Neon 2.0. I don't know. I'm over it. Now, God bless you. If you're a War Machine fan or if you're a Neon fan, by all means, I'm not telling you not to get it. The War Machine Mark One diecast is an amazing piece. Amazing piece. I love my War Machine Mark One diecast. I didn't have a Mark One originally. When I started collecting them, the Mark One was long sold out and very expensive and was a huge holy grail. So when they made it as a diecast, that was literally 100% all what I was looking for in the first place. So I was very happy to get it, and I love it. It's a great piece. So if you're a War Machine fan, hey, this is probably a good one for you. And but for me, it's gonna be a pass, and it's very rare, very 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 rare that I totally will just pass on a figure, and I'm gonna pass on this one. I'm gonna pass on it. A whole bunch of 1/6 scale accessories have come out. Big Bad Toy Store has some chairs, some like rocking chairs. They came out with some jackets that kind of look like what you see Steve Rogers wearing. See what else was new? There's a new Harley Quinn that's made by Super Duck, set number 048. It's called the Crazy Girl costume set. There's a new mask, the mask figure by Dark Toys was announced. There's another Miles Morales. I don't think it's as good version as the Young Rich toys, but I've not seen the Young Rich toys in person. I've only seen the images. The images for the Super MC toys just doesn't look as good as I thought the images for the Young Rich toys did. Of course, there's the Edith glasses. Everyone's selling the Edith glasses. There's a Agent Smith from The Matrix. There's a new Killmonger head sculpt. I think we talked about those last week. And I think that was it for the new stuff this week. That's a big list of new stuff. You know what I mean? So that's a lot to go through for a week, and that's what happens at the end of the year. We'll go now after December. It'll be January, February. We won't see nothing. Nothing will be shipped. Nothing will be announced. It'll be the dark times for the hobby in that regards, and it'll give you a chance for your wallet to catch up because everybody and their brother that's been selling stuff or has had stuff on pre-order, all of a sudden your pre-orders are going to start coming through. You're going to start getting messages from Sideshow and Big Bad Toy Store and everyone else that you pre-order from saying, hey, your item's here. It's time for you to pay for it. And if you are on a type of a payment plan, then you got nothing to worry about. It's just a matter of your product coming in. But if you're one of these guys like myself that put the deposit down or no deposit, depending on how it's the requirement is, all of a sudden you're hit with $300, $400, $500 to make a purchase, and you get 4 or 5 of those coming through, yeah, you're going to be in trouble. So, I'm on the fence for both of them. I think I'll regret missing the Iron Spider more. The Iron Spider is a nice figure. I really like the Iron Spider. My only regret with the Iron Spider was that they should have made it, in my opinion, they should have made it more plasticky, if that makes any sense. With the suit being on the body, what they didn't do was they didn't put the lights on the suit that are supposed to be on the suit. If you're watching the movie, he's got like lights, just like the Mark 46 and Mark 47, they light up on the body. And they didn't do that with the Iron Spider, and I really wish that they had. They should have made one that did that a little more. The only way they could have done it that I can see, the 2 ways they could have done it. One, they could have done it by doing the UV lighting thing that they'd done with Thor and with the Neon Tech and Spider-Man or Iron Man's. They could have done it that way. The other way would have been to have him have a plastic body, which would have totally cut back on some of the coolness of the figure as it is. So I'm sure that was all obviously something that they thought about, but I don't know why they didn't put the UV paint on there. I suppose if I really wanted to, I could go buy me some UV paint and just apply it. I would never do, but I suppose if that was important to you, it is kind of important to me. I suppose you could do that. That's the only regret I have with Iron Spider, but I love it. I love all the Spider-Man. That's why I was excited with the negative suit. I've seen the negative suit. I'm like, oh, well, that's a definite yes for fact. Anything Spider-Man that they're cranking out is going to be a definite fact for me. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, I think the Iron Spider is still for sale at some of the places. I think you're right. In your A3 collection? I'm not sure what that is. So, and then on a personal note, new news is all the doctor's bills are coming in. If those of you that have followed me for a while know that my wife was in the hospital for a couple of months. Oh, Avengers 3 collection. Gotcha. My wife was in the hospital for a couple of months, and those bills are coming through. So I've got to come up $4,000. And my wife says, you got to sell some of the figures. And I'm like, gosh, you know what? You're absolutely right. And I absolutely hate this. So I'm telling you guys first because today I'll be putting figures up on eBay. And I think, gosh dang it, I don't even want to do this or even say this. I've been procrastinating on it all week. My wife and I were talking about this on Tuesday. Gosh dang it. And so what she suggested that I do, and again, I don't even want to do this. What she suggested I do was to sell the most expensive ones. So, first off to you guys, anyone that you see here is for sale. Trust me, I'm not depleting. I'm not dissolving my collection. Anything in my collection is for sale at this point. I've got to come up with $4,000 like right now. But so if there's any figure that you see that you are familiar with that I have, it's for sale. And I don't even care which one it is. Probably the only one I don't want to get rid of is my Mark 21 Midas Chrome. It's probably the only one as I'm sitting here thinking about it that I don't want to sell. But it sounds so hypocritical that I'm opening up a brand new figure that I just paid for. And I got figures that are coming that are going to have to be paid for. And then I'm sitting there turning around having to sell figures. It's, trust me, the oxymoron of the whole thing is just really digging at me, if you can imagine. And then on top of that, I'm going to have to turn around and rebuy these figures later when I have more disposable income once all the doctor's bills are paid. So I'm going to sell them, and then in a year, I'll be paying you guys to get them back, more or less. I'll be hopping on eBay and buying these figures again. But the ones that I was looking at that I think I'm probably going to sell are going to be the Hulkbuster, original Hulkbuster, my Mark V die-cast, and my Mark 47 die-cast. And I really like all those figures. I really love my Mark V die-cast. I really love my Mark 47 die-cast. But they're the ones that seem to be bringing in the most money on eBay. So I'm going to sell those. Probably sell my Mark III Secret Project. Any one of them. I don't know. Whatever I've got to do to come up with the doctor's bills. So I'm offering you guys first because I'll sell it to you straight out through, all we've got to do is just PayPal. And through PayPal, of course, you'll be insured and licensed and whatever else and registered. So I'm not going to burn you. You know where to find me. But wouldn't have to worry about eBay fees at that point, just PayPal fees. But anyhow, anyone that you see, or see anything that I own, I'll be happy to sell. No, I wouldn't be happy to sell, but I got to sell. I got to come up with money for the doctor's bills right now. So, on to the hypocritical part of opening up a brand new figure. God. I'm telling you, I've been struggling with this all week. It's not easy. It really isn't. It really isn't. So, just throwing that out there. This is the Spider Punk. I was going to open up my movie promo edition, but essentially that's the same figure as the Civil War figure or Spider-Man Homecoming figure. It's really the suit that has been in all of the 5 movies that Tom Holland Spider-Man has been in. Only they re-released it and they took away some of the goodies out of it. So it doesn't come with all the stuff. Specifically, I think a head sculpt, I think, was one of the big things that the original version of it came with. Doesn't come with a head sculpt. So, I decided to open this one up first because I'm really excited about this figure. It's so funny when I seen this was released up for or at the San Diego Comic-Con like last year. I sent a message to my friend Shartimus. And I'm like, hey, it's Shartimus Spider-Man. He didn't think it was all that funny. I thought it was funny. He didn't think so. He's a great guy, by the way. If you guys have ever met him or know him, what a man. What an amazing fella he is. Hard-working individual. cool looking box. I really like it. I'm really digging the Spider-Men. And, I was a Spider-Man fan way before anything else. The only thing that precedes Spider-Man would have to be Batman or Superman. But Spider-Man's my guy. He's my comic book hero. Yeah, I'm with you, Noble, no doubt, man. And like I said, I'm only offering it to you guys. They are going on eBay. There's no doubt about it. And I'm not asking for donations. I mean, I'm not. Trust me, I'm strapped for cash right now, but I'm not going to the poorhouse. If that makes any sense. I'm not rich by any means. I mean, I work my ass off for what I have, and I really had no intention of ever selling any of this. And like I said, it seems so hypocritical to be opening up a brand new figure that I just spent $250, $300 on, or whatever it was that I spent on this, and then turn around and have to sell figures to get $4,000 to pay medical bills. But that comes to, I guess, the obsession of the product and poor financial planning. Right? You know how that works? So here's the back of the box. You guys have probably seen this a dozen times, but as you know, I'm the last person to get any of this. A magnetic flap. Oh, by the way, so like yesterday or last week on the Neanderoid, I was telling you that what they had was that you had to cut the little pieces out to make the little things. I suppose you could, but they did include, once I opened up the box more, they included in the background a little sheet that has all these little hard plastic speak bubbles. Two of them were in Japanese, I think, and so I have no idea what they say. I'll have to ask my my brother-in-law. He's lived in Japan for decades, and well, obviously he's fluent in Japanese. I am not. I don't even think I know maybe 3 Japanese words. But I'll have to ask him what they say. But it came with 4 little speech bubbles. So you can still cut these out because it's more speech bubbles than what it came with. But you don't have to. You don't have to destroy your box in order to have speech bubbles. Should you decide to put speech bubbles on your little Deadpool. So what I did was I took 3 of them. 2 of them that are written in English, and I taped them to the wall behind my little Deadpool guns over here. So there's the little Nendoroid chibi pool. And again, I have no idea what he's saying. Maybe if one of you guys know, share. And then back here, you see I put a couple of the other little speech bubbles. After I waste you, I'm going to go get some sushi. And then there's just one that says, "Here comes Deadpool." I just taped him to the wall back there. That looked pretty cool right there. So there's my Deadpool collection. Oh. It'll be the last week for some of these pieces. Jeez. Really not looking forward to this, guys. But, like I said, I'm such a nut. I'll turn right around in a year when I've recovered from all this and buy them again. What the hell? What the hell's wrong with us in this business, right? Or in this collection? Hot Toys can always reissue these toys. Let those guys fly and don't sweat it. Yeah, I'm really not sweating it. I hate the hypocritical part of it. You know what I mean? Just seems so hypocritical. But trust me, I'm not somebody that gets these figures for free and then turns around and sells them and make them bank in that manner. All these are paid for. All these are paid for. Now, one thing that happened with this figure, when they first announced it, they showed a version of the guitar that was a what's called the star-shaped guitar. And if I remember correctly, the person who's attributed to being the creator of the star-shaped guitar is Eddie Van Halen, who took his, I think it was a Gibson Destroyer, and he cut it up into the shape of the star. And so the first guitar that they showed was a star guitar with the Flying V headstock. And something happened along the way, I'm sure. Somebody said, no, you ain't doing that bullshit because we owe copyright to it or whatever, and we're not releasing that, blah, blah, blah. And I would have much rather had that star guitar, to tell you the truth. But this, I don't recognize this guitar at all. Now, it still has the Flying V, the Gibson Flying V headstock on it. But this is definitely a whole new shape guitar. Now, so one of the things I thought about doing was getting a piece of foam or a piece of wood or something and cutting up and making it into the star, and then customizing it. And you know, will I do that? No, I'll probably not even do that at all. Because the other thing that I like about it, and specifically with the star, because of the Spider-Man webbing on it, it really does look like Eddie Van Halen's red, white, and black signature guitars that he's well known for. And so when Eddie Van Halen cut his up, he called it the Shark. And from my understanding, he's the one that's attributed with that design. And so, but we don't get that. They changed it. There was like 2 or 3 pictures that were released that showed that this was going to be the new guitar, and that's literally what they shipped. I was kind of hoping that it wasn't going to be the case, that we would still get the star guitar, but we did not. We have this, which is cool. So, I don't know if you guys knew all that. That's why I decided to share it with you. And you know, whether or not it really even matters, it's like, who cares? So what? Nothing attached to the cardboard. And those on that Nendoroid, they were attached to the back of the cardboard. So you had to pull out this cardboard insert, and they were on the back of it. And sometimes they put stuff on the inside of these. So now I'm starting to pay more attention to that. Just like this piece here on the door flap. It's a spider webbing, and I think sometimes they come with a like the danger sense or spider sense. His little Peter tingle. So I think that's supposed to be like a spider splotch. His web splotching. There he is before we take him out of the box. Oh, let me give you an update on my poison. I put her on a figure stand and she works well. I don't remember where this figure stand came from. Whether it came with one of my wasps or where it came from, but this is perfect. A little round, clear plastic base, clear plastic rod with a waist hugger, little silver knob that spins on the back. I have no idea who made this stand. I really wish I knew, but it's the only one I have. It came with some figure that I bought that had either the waist or you could put it around the thigh, a little bitty skinny one. And so that's what I did, and she looked great. I decided not to do the arm across the belly, but that's my poison. And a feisty body. Give you an update on that. And I'm still working on my crossbones. He's in the same condition he was last week. I didn't do any work on any of these figures this week, other than putting her on a figure stand. So I'm digging this guitar. There's been a lot of figures that are coming with guitars. There's been guitars that have been available for a while, 1/6 scale guitars. So this is definitely new to me. It's the first guitar figure that I have. I don't think that was a very good place to put this, right there. I think I'd have probably figured out a better way to put that last little piece there. Of course, that's a good place for the other side of it. This should have gone someplace other than right there. Didn't really seem to want to work right. The what do they call that? The whammy bar. It's 3-dimensional on that. You can see that. Sticks out. So this is cool in the first place. Like I said, that's a Gibson Flying V headstock. And I don't recognize the body at all. But that's probably why we didn't get it. You know what? The strings, each string is on there as well. This isn't, the strings aren't molded. They're little bitty strings. See if I can get a good angle for that for you. Don't know if you'll be able to see that. But those strings are actual strings that are on it, little pieces of fishing line or something. They're all identical size. So there's not like larger one and thinner one. And they each go to their proper tuning key. They really did a good job on the guitar in that regards. If you're a fan of musical instruments or 1/6 accessories, jeez, this is a top notch here. I surely didn't expect the strings to be separate, and they are. There's 6 strings on there, and each one of them are strung. They're strung all the way from the tuning key to, what do they call that? I forget what they call that. Bridge? I forget what that's called, where the strings are attached to on the bass. They're all the way. The strings are all the way down there. Really impressed with that. That's impressive. That's really cool. I dig that. That's really neat. That's really neat. But no, this was a definite for me. This is one of those figures again that people were like, pass. A lot of collectors are just straight on, keep it simple. If it's not, a red and gold Iron Man, if it's not a red and blue Spider-Man, if he's not the traditional piece, they just totally pass on it. And one of two things happen. Either the company makes too many of them in anticipation of people wanting it and it being a flop, and they end up being available forever, and you can't get rid of them because they're cheaper than what you could have bought them for originally. So you end up, never making the money out of it. Or people pass on it because they're like, you know what? Not a fan of this particular version of it. He's not the red and blue. He's not traditionally suited. I pass on it. And for whatever reason, it ends up going right through the roof. And then everyone's like, boy, I sure made a mistake passing on that. But this was a no-brainer for me. Like I said, I'll buy every Spider-Man that they make, especially out of the PS4 group. It's really good. I was really impressed with that Scarlet Spider, the Advanced Suit Spider-Man, which is only in the PS4. The next one that I think that they showed us was the Velocity suit. I think was the next one that Hot Toys previewed us at convention. So that will be, I imagine, the next one to be released. Because of course they showed us the negative suit at San Diego Comic-Con. And then I think the Velocity suit was shown at New York Comic-Con? I don't remember. So I'm wondering if the jacket comes off. Sometimes on these figures they do. Sometimes on these figures they don't. Let's check the instruction manual. Proceed with caution when pulling out the eyepieces. Do not place the figure in areas with high temperature and humidity, otherwise it will be damaged. Return the arms and legs to natural position to avoid material damage after prolonged period. Got 4 panels total on this guy. There's all the panels. Let's see, what does it say? Eyepieces are interchangeable. Press the indicated part of the eye to remove. Be careful when taking out eyepieces. So instead of using a magnet to snatch them out, it says to push up at the top of the eye at the very point. Arm and leg move at 90, 90, 120, 120. Let's see. Where the guitar is indicated. So they show the guitar. We're running it through the base of the guitar on the arm. For whatever reason, that's how they say to wear it, is just as such. It says, do not pull the strings. Do not twist the tuning keys or the vibrato arm. Otherwise, the accessory will be damaged. Handle the guitar belt with extra care. Otherwise, the accessory will be damaged. And again, I mean, I'm impressed and surprised that they did as much detail to this. And so they're warning you that because they took the extra steps to do that, you will break it if you play with that. So don't pluck, don't strum the strings, don't pull on the strings, don't try to tune the strings, and just be careful with it. It's literally what they said. So again, this falls under the category of it being an adult collectible for ages 15 years and up. That's what they recommend for these, by the way. So, and I don't know what the hell that is supposed to mean, to tell you the truth. 15 and up. I don't remember being any more responsible at age 15 as I was at age 30. Or now, for that matter. So the strap can be adjusted. I really just hate the placement of that bottom strap. Just wasn't, I don't think it should have gone there. I don't know where it should have gone. I'm going to say, in my opinion, where it should have gone should have been right here, right at the end of the guitar, not underneath this. It should have gone right here, truthfully, in my opinion, right there. Should have been the spot for it. So, but, and it appears the strap is adjustable. So you can make it longer. There's plenty of slack on that strap, so it can be adjusted. The suit feels like the other Spider-Man of late. I imagine you can put on a Peter Parker head if you want as well. He doesn't come with one, obviously. Let's get to the coat. Interesting, on a side note, it comes with another spider drone. I need to look and see what the difference between this spider drone and the other spider drone. It says that the pinchers can be twisted forward as shown. And I'll be doggone, I didn't pay attention to this on the other one, but they sure can. They can be moved about and repositioned. So you just twist the little guys whichever direction you need, should you desire to reposition them. Do not pull the pinchers away from the spider drone, otherwise they will get damaged. So don't try to remove one. But they spin around. I have to pull out the other one, have a look at it, and see if it's the same spider drone. Imagine it is. Attach the web shooters in the sequence shown. Web strings of different lengths are attachable to the hand and web shooters. And I think this is one of the ones that did not come with the what I like to call the Todd McFarlane spider web hands. I don't remember a crazy spider webbing until Todd McFarlane started drawing Spidey. That's when all of a sudden all the webbing just became unmanageable for the most part. Peter's just got webbing everywhere, just following him and just being a big nuisance. I don't see that webbing, and I like that webbing. I think that was an excellent addition on behalf of Sideshow to include that. What I'm referring to, if you guys aren't familiar with what I'm talking about, there's the one that came with the Scarlet Spider. It's a bunched up slew of webbing at his hand. It's literally what you would expect him to have. And like I said, Todd McFarlane comics really just had the webbing everywhere. And so I reference this to that. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he wasn't the first one to have done this, but my memory serves that's where this comes from. And then anyone that copied that or continued with that would have been following, in my opinion, the Todd McFarlane design with that. So if he's got a hand that has a hole on both sides, then you should be able to use this. If not, you could probably finagle it into it, because I imagine he's got a hand at least with one hole at the top. But no, I'm pretty sure he's got one that goes all the way through because he has that one webbing that he holds, right? So should be able to use this on the other Spider-Man should you desire to. But I really like that webbing, and I hope that they continue to put it on the other figures. Let's get to the gosh darn coat. Unindicate parts are not attached. Do not try to take them off, otherwise they may get damaged. And they show the spikes on the head, the coat, and the sneakers. It says, do not try to take them off. Do not try to take them off. So there's the answer to that. The coat, the belt, and the shoes. But I've seen images of this spider suit without a coat, and it's totally there. It's not like removing this is going to end up giving you a Spider-Man without a anything on there. The coat's really nice. It's got like a polyester lining on the jean jacket. All the buttons, they look like buttons. Should look for a rocker that's going to have all those little buttons on him. Give you guys some light on that subject here. Some of them are raised up. Some of them are like more flat against the coat. They look really cool. It's what you would expect to see on someone dressing in this attire, right? Got an Anarchy A on there. British flag, spiderweb, an 8-ball. I'm not sure what all these others are. It says not to take off the coat, don't take off the shoes, or the belt. So there's the answer to that. No articulated toe, and that's interesting because of late they've been coming with articulated toes. This one does not come with an articulated toe. I would have enjoyed a shoestrings on the shoe. Not necessary, but I would have enjoyed that. I would have thought that would have been cool. There's a little Spider-Man Converse. Dirty little treads. So the bottom would be where the copyright is, right? His right foot says Marvel copyright. His left foot says 2019 Hot Toys Limited. And I don't know what that is, to tell you the truth. Don't know what that's supposed to mean. I imagine it's something from the video game. I imagine there's like Spider-Man, SM, Spider-Man. I don't know. I have no idea what that is. I don't know if he's supposed to be in a rock band or what the deal is. I don't remember that ever being in the comics. It might have been, but I don't remember Spidey ever joining a rock band. So I don't know what the history of this is supposed to be that would warrant this figure. Let's see, what's the last page on this? Okay, we went over everything. All right. So read the instructions. I'm loving my Spider-Man, by the way. It's about doggone time. You know what I mean? It's about doggone time. So the eyes are not in a little packet. I like it when they come with a little packet. It's not a requirement, but it's nice and convenient when they do. And he comes with 3 total sets of eyes, so 2 more sets of interchangeable eyes with other than the eyes that come with them. So the regular size eyes, a half squint eye set, and then a full-on squint eye set. Now, the question comes a lot of times, are these interchangeable with some of the others? Sometimes they are, sometimes they are not. And there's the full squint eyes. Simple enough to find out. Just grab one of the other guys and see if they fit. Easy enough, right? A little Spider-Man boxes up here at the top. So we'll just grab one and see what we have. Scarlet Spider. Scarlet Spider. I see no interchangeable eyes with Scarlet Spider. Did he not come with interchangeable eyes? Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Advanced Suit Spidey. And here's the drone. You can compare the drone of the two. For Advanced Suit Spidey. I see 0 difference. Appears to be the same color red, same color silver, same amount of black washing on them, same amount of metallic shine. I see 0 difference between these two. Here's Advanced Suit Spider Drone, and here's the Spider-Punk Spider Drone. Same figure, totally. I see no difference whatsoever. Let's take one of his eyes out. Appears to be the same eye shape. We have different size eyes optioned eyes, I guess. Scarlet Spider. Let's go ahead and dump this out so I can get the eyes here. Make sure I keep these separate. I swear to God. I literally can see someone turning that into the middle finger. For real. So there's definitely a intermediate eye opening one on this, and I have a feeling it'll swap out. Real simple, just like it showed in the instruction manual. As soon as I push this right here at the very tip, the little eye just popped right out. So I'm just going to push it at the pointy part, and there you go. The eye literally comes right out. Really simple to do. No need for a magnet to take that out. Believe it or not, with both of these pieces, okay, their eyes are totally different opening. Let's get the advanced suit Spidey over here. And yeah, Scarlet Spider comes with no eyes. I'm looking at my Scarlet Spider, and his eyes are part of his head. So this piece would be, I guess, in my opinion now, looking at these eyes, a complement piece to the advanced suit Spidey, simply because they come with different eye openings. If that makes any sense to you at all. Eye comes out exactly the same way. I'm going to compare these two full-on open eyes. Let's get the Scarlet Spider up here. We don't need him in that box anymore. All right, I'm going to say that truthfully, totally and completely, the advanced suit Spider-Man eyes are totally different than the Scarlet Spider eyes. 100%. Let's see if they're interchangeable. Seems to want to go there. It will go there. It doesn't want to necessarily fit in there totally. It's in there, but it's out a little bit. It's in there. Okay? But it's not necessarily in there. So let's give you a close-up of what I'm talking about here. Why is this not wanting to stay up? So if you notice, see how the eye's a little out from the head? It's not flush. I mean, it's there, but it's not. And interestingly enough, it seems to go in deeper on the advanced suit than the advanced suit eye does. It's actually in more. If you can see that. So the eye that we changed was his left eye. So this left eye is the eye from Spider-Punk, and this is the left eye from the Spider Advanced suit. So, and they're, like I said, they're differently shaped eyes. Every one of these guys are. His eyes are differently shaped than his eyes. Now, I don't mean the shape. I guess what I mean is the opening is, so he has the widest opening, and then this one, and then this one again is the next step down, and then this is the next step down, and then this is the next step down, and then this is the squintiest, if that makes any sense. So what I want to do then is test these others. Let's put the squintiest one. So this is the Scarlet Spider eye. Put it back on the Scarlet Spider-Punk eye. Spider-Punk eye. Let's put the squintiest eye from Spider-Punk into the advanced suit. See how that fits. I mean, the magnet will hold it there. So there's the squintiest eye from the Spider-Punk suit. And this eye is not as squinty. And we will put it on Spider-Punk. Take the advanced suit eye off. Put it back over on the advanced suit side. See how this fits. Again, it fits about the same as the other did. I mean, it's there, you know, if that makes any sense. But not necessarily really there. So in all actuality, you have, between these two guys, 6 sets of eyes. Every one of them are different in regards to their opening. So you have 6 stages. And so this is the most open, second most open, third most open, or first most closed, fourth most open, fifth most open, and then the 6th most closed. So from the biggest to the smallest is this guy. From the squintiest to the widest is this guy. And this guy has number 2 position widest, number 3 position widest, and then number 5. So this guy's 1, 4, and 6. This guy's 2, 3, and 5. If you're able to follow all that, God bless you. That's a Spider-Punk eye. This is a Advanced Suit Spidey eye. Let's put their eyes back in. Iron Spider, I think, is totally different eyes. I think we already tried that on the before. Yeah, they're much smaller eyes. The Iron Spider eyes are. And Spider-Man Homecoming eyes are much like the Iron Spider eyes. They're smaller, so definitely there's a difference between the MCU eyes and the PS4 eyes. But these two PS4 eyes are interchangeable, and kinda. And the Scarlet Spider didn't have interchangeable eyes. In the homemade suit, remember, he had like the big, so his eyes were fact. Wouldn't be interchanging with anything here. This is the head sculpt that came with the original homemade suit, which was a question in regards to the re-release of the homemade suit, which comes with the battle drone, whatever exactly it was. Battle damaged Tom Holland. Okay, the only one that comes with this. None of the other Spider-Men have come with a battle damaged Tom Holland. If that's important to you, then that homemade suit will be what you're going to want to get, the original one. If you don't care for the battle damage Tom Holland head sculpt, well, then it doesn't really matter. See if we can put Tom Holland on Spider-Punk. And of course, Tom Holland didn't do the PS4. Not bad. His neck appears a little long, but because I didn't have it all the way on. That's because the peg is a different size. I don't have my pliers. Peg is just a little bit thicker going into the body, but the head peg's the same. So we're going to use Scarlet Spider, or golly, Spider-Punk's head peg here. I have a feeling that will resolve the length of the neck issue. You know what? It really flops around in here a lot. So what I'm going to do, put it the other way around. It's shorter, okay? It's a shorter peg than the Tom Holland peg. Let's put it in the body first. Let's see if we can get Tom Holland on here. This suit, this cloth wiggles as I'm trying to get this on here. So I want to be careful not to damage that. It's really tight fit up in this head. And that resolved the neck issue. So should you decide to do this, it can be done. If you want to give Tom Holland these suits, it's totally a possibility. At least with this head sculpt. If I remember correctly, I think it's the Iron Spider head sculpt, which is totally different in regards to how it connects to the head. I think it's got like a big magnet. The whole thing is different, if I remember correctly. But that's from the homemade suit. It's the only, so far, the only battle damage Tom Holland, and I have not seen a third-party Tom Holland battle damage head sculpt. There is a third-party head sculpt out there that I've seen, but not a battle damaged one. So that's the only battle damaged head sculpt that I have seen that they have made. And there he is on the Spider-Punk outfit right there. So let's take this off. But using the Spider-Punk's neck joint instead of the Tom Holland neck joint works perfectly. Yeah. I don't know how about perfectly, but it's what works. should you desire to do that with your figure. Just pre-ordered a Neon Tech War Machine. I missed the diecast mark, so that will do for me. And I'm telling you, man, that War Machine Mark 1 diecast is amazing. I love it. It really is nice. It's for sale if you want it. Talking to you. I would hate to lose it because it really completes the Mark 6 Iron Man 2 placement of the Mark 6 and the War Machine fighting Whiplash 2. But I will sell him. If you want the War Machine Mark 1 diecast, he's for sale. Every one of them are for sale. God, I hate saying that. But doctor's bills are doctor's bills. And they can really make your life absolute hell if you don't pay them. So this will give me the means to pay them, so I will pay them. I'm not going to shirk my duties or responsibilities and not pay the bills that I owe. So that's that. Hit me up if you're interested in that War Machine Mark 1. I will sell him to you. Diecast War Machine. I'll sell the Ironmonger. Any figure that's in my collection, kid you not, I will sell. I can always buy him later again in a year when my financial position changes. And again, it seems so hypocritical. Just drop $250 on a figure or whatever and turn around just to get... Don't make me have to think about this. You know what I mean? It's like jumping off a cliff. Don't think about it. Just frickin' jump. I don't mean jumping off a cliff to like die. I mean like jumping off a cliff to go into the water. If you're cliff diving into the ocean or a pool or something, just jump. I'm really digging that each of these have their own little spider webbing, and this little spider shooter looks just like, like a bracelet you would see these types of guys wear. People who dress in this manner. It's really cool that that's actually his spider shooter as well. Let's take this little spider shooter off, have a look at it. Because it's designed to come off, right? It's one of the things they said that we could take off. Little hole underneath the spray jet where you would attach the spider webbing to. And it's the traditional spider webbing that's been around from like the original Spider-Man that they made, as far as that goes. So if you wanted to use it, it has this little offset piece that goes into the hole, so it looks like it's being shot out of the injector nozzle of the web shooters. And these are fragile, by the way. So be careful when putting them in. You will break them. How's it going, CBS Sci-Fi? Since we got his hand off, let's talk about hands. We have extra joints. Again, we have, what are these? Buttons for... Two little buttons for what? Jacket buttons for the pockets. The only buttons I see on here. So you got two little buttons. and interchangeable wrist pegs. We have 5 additional sets of hands. So he has these 2, I don't know what you would call them, grasping or relaxed hands. Two fists, punching fists, because there's nothing in there. There's no hole for holding spider webbing. So 2 fists. Two I love you web shooters. Now, also, what I find interesting on these hands compared to the others is the black webbing is external. It's not into the hand, it's on top of the hand. I don't believe any of the other guys have them as such. Let's look real quick. Scarlet Spider. No webbing on the hands at all. Advanced Suit. The webbing is recessed into the hands. Iron Spider. Of course, we have metallic hands with the webbing recessed into the hands. Spider-Man Homecoming. Again, recessed webbing with webbing into the hands. And Homemade, we have, again, recessed webbing with webbing in the hands, cut into the hands. So this webbing is actually externally applied. It's on the outside of the hands, which is really interesting. Same thing with the head sculpt with that in mind. So the webbing is on the outside of the helmet instead of, for instance, on Advanced Spidey here, it's cut into the head sculpt. Just something of interesting to note. But these are, like I said, these are the regular webbing that you've got with every other Spider-Man. No difference whatsoever. Literally, no difference whatsoever on this webbing. Then we have 2 of what I like to call are the Spider-Man pose hands, because it's what he would do if he were stuck to a wall, or if he were in his like crawling, crouching pose where he puts his hand out like that and presses it to something. So we have those. It's a very unique Spider-Man hand, if you will. I can't imagine anyone else needing to do their hand as such. The fingers are kind of pressed back because he's applying a pressure to whatever it is that he's up against. He's using his effort to apply himself to that, the stickiness of his hands to apply himself to that. It pushes his fingertips back. And only Spider-Man that I can think of comes with those hands. It could be essentially, like a Iron Man Power Blast hand, but he doesn't do the same thing. His hands are still even kind of relaxed, kind of he's not necessarily pulling his fingers all the way back as such and just stressing his hands like that and making his fingertips bend back. It's literally a Spider-Man thing. And when they do the superhero landing, they make a fist. So it's definitely a Spider-Man hand. We have two holding something hands, be it a gun, a cell phone, a USB stick, a controller, a guitar maybe. Trying to be really careful with this guitar. There he is with his hand on the neck. It was scary putting it on because the strings moved, but that fits perfectly on there. So you can have him playing the guitar in that manner. Um, he has a left hand and a right hand as such. I suppose this could be what you put on the right hand of him playing the guitar. I don't know. It doesn't really work as such, does it? But you have cell phones and USB sticks or something that are in the other Spidey Men. So I imagine you can put those in his hands as well. And then the final set of hands he comes with are the web shooter hands, and they both have the holes at the top and the bottom. So it's designed for this piece specifically to go through. And again, there's a way that it goes through. When I have to refresh my memory. You do it one way, you do it right. You do it the other way, you'll break it. You really don't want to break these. And it says the way to do it is to pull it through, not push it through. Now, obviously, you have to push it through to get it started. Goes through real easy. But then once it sticks through at the bottom, it's starting to get a little difficult. I haven't stuck it all the way through yet. It's not wanting to go through all the way. It goes in real easy up to about a third of the way down. All right, I was able to press it through. And so they say at that point, you don't want to push on it anymore. You'll want to pull it through the rest of the way. And I literally just broke off the little piece. Little tip here, about 1/2 of an inch. Literally broke off, pulling that through. So I think they're full of it. I'm pushing by grabbing the fat portion of it here. It's fatter than the hole. Is the problem. It's fatter than the hole. I'm screwing it on because there's like actual threads on there. That's probably how they should say to put it in there. They should tell you to screw it in. It's being very careful to do it. Don't pull it. They literally said to pull it. I was pulling it, and that little piece right here, very tip of it, snapped off. Doesn't affect the functionality of it, or even if you'll even notice that, but it did. So the question then is, Scarlet Spider should fit well. It doesn't go all the way through. And it does. It works perfectly well. So if you have the Scarlet Spider webbing, you can put it on Spider Punk. And I love the webbing. And Todd McFarlane brought a fresh perspective to Spidey, really brought him to life. And I'm going to attribute that to Todd McFarlane, and I may be wrong, but I don't remember the webbing being having an identity itself until Todd started drawing Spidey. The webbing just became this whole nother story. Webbing everywhere. A mess of web. I don't see anything else in here except the figure stand. Let's get to that. CBS Sci-Fi, I am doing well. I was telling all the guys that this afternoon, after I get off of the show with you guys, I will be putting my figures on eBay because I have doctor bills, my wife's doctor bills that had to be paid. So I'm telling you guys first, because you're family, if you want anything, I won't put it on eBay. I mean, I'll sell it straight to PayPal to you. And of course, using PayPal, you're safe and secure and whatever else. You don't have to worry about me scamming you. I'm not going to scam you, for fact. You know where to find me. But and everything is for sale. I'm going to specifically list, only because they're the most expensive ones on eBay right now, the Mark V, the Mark 47, Mark V diecast, and Mark 47 diecast, and my Hulkbuster. And I don't want to list any of them, but I keep telling myself, next year things will be better. And I hate to sound like a hypocrite unboxing a brand new figure while I've got to come up with $4,000 for doctor's bills, hospital stays. Living is not cheap. But I'll just turn right around in a year and buy these back. That's a fact. I don't see anything else with this. Here's the base stand. It's pretty cool. Again, I wish I knew what the SMFN was. If you guys know what that is, go ahead and share it for me, either now or later on in the description below, in the comments. These are all of his. These are all of his little buttons that he has on. So these are all the buttons he has on his jacket as well. There's the bottom of it and the name of it. Spider Punk suit. And it comes with the new posing stands that they've been using of late, which have a little soft rubber piece that you can slide up and down. Not a big fan of these in regards to flight poses or whatever, but supposedly they work well. I have a hard doing that, but I'm good with them in regards to being able to slide all the way down. So I got an instant message, and I will respond to that after the video. But you're welcome to IM me, message me, Facebook me, and I will respond specifically. But I'm starting to accept these as working. What I don't like, especially with the diecast figures, is there's really, you can't really tighten it down as much. But it's, I guess it beats nothing. I don't necessarily consider their best plan. I still think the best plan was the ones that literally lock in at the top, but you only have a certain height on that. And if that was the case, for instance, on this figure, if it was locked in at the top, you wouldn't be able to get it around his waist. It'd be up here around his shoulders. So it's nice that you can slide this down, put it around his waist, and it gives you then a waist grabber instead of the crotch grabber, because the crotch grabbers can damage sometimes the inside of the thighs. So it's a good option or alternative. I just wish they were all more interchangeable or more universal, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So it's a nice stand. I don't know how much weight it can handle, but he doesn't weigh anything. The little plastic figures as such compared to the die-cast figures, they don't weigh much. So putting them into a Spider-Man pose should be easy enough to do. Let's give him a web blaster on this side. Put him into the I love you, pressing the release on his web shooter. The suit moves, by the way, over the body. Moves easily. My only problem, by the way, with the first Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, was that they had the webbing as an organic substance coming from him instead of web shooters. I first hated that because it wasn't true to the book. So Tobey Maguire isn't the original Spider-Man in that regards, okay? His web shooting is organic. It comes out of his body. His web does. One of the weaknesses that Spider-Man has is he runs out of web fluid. You know, he has to have his cartridges on his belt, which this guy doesn't have any spare cartridges. So when he's out, he's out. I don't see a backpack or a pocket or anything with more web shooting cartridges. So any of these Spider-Men that don't have cartridges around their belt, how do they shoot more webbing? Spidey's got a web belt he wears, right? Is my memory not up to par? He's supposed to have a web belt on with web cartridges, right? Because Spider-Man runs out of web fluid. He has got to change out his cartridges. So when Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was out, I was like, oh, that's great. So he'll never run out of web fluid. Well, they did. They gave an explanation for that and had him running out of web fluid. So that worked well. And that's the only fault that I had with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Spider-Man 3 I had a lot of problems with. Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3, specifically around Venom. But I really accepted Tobey Maguire and really liked Tom Holland. I had a hard time with the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. The suit is so loose that bending his arm really causes a lot of crinkle in the suit there. See all that? So I don't know put him in or keep him in because I don't want this to separate. Two different materials, like a vinyl and then like this weird cloth that they have. So, problem, I imagine. See how that's all crinkled up? So something to keep in mind in regards to things. My wife is well, but she's not as well as she was before all of this. It's rough, guys. It's really rough. So, I'm enjoying every moment that I have with her. You know, I've been giving an opportunity to do all the things, make sure that we do all the things that we hadn't done before, if that makes any sense. You know, sometimes you don't have that chance to, do everything. So, well, that is. But huge Spider-Man fan. You know, when I was a little kid, I don't even remember where these comics even came from, whether they were friends of mine that had given them to me or whatever, but the comics that I read as a little kid were Superman comics, Batman comics, and there were some Disney comics and Archie comics that I had too that I read. So I read Archie comics, I read some Disney comics, and I remember Scrooge McDuck and such. These were comics that I read as a kid. So I'm very familiar with Batman and Batman storyline, the Superman and Superman storyline, and the Ducks and Archie and the gang and all that. But you know, Archie was a little probably more advanced than what I was ready for when I was a little kid, and so I never connected to any of those guys. The Superman or Spider-Man, or I mean Batman, Superman being an alien with superpowers. I could never be Superman because I'm not an alien from another planet. who can fly and leap over tall buildings with a single bound, faster than a speeding bullet. He'll stop a steam locomotive. You know, I could never do that. Batman, born rich and famous. Not me. Not born rich nor famous. Uh, Spider-Man, I could totally relate to. Just a teenage kid that got into trouble. I didn't start reading Spider-Man until I was older, you know, and all of a sudden I'm like, this dude I can really relate to. And he lived in New York City. I didn't live in New York City, but Superman and Batman lived in Gotham and Metropolis, which don't exist. I mean, sometimes I hear Gotham is Chicago. Sometimes I hear Gotham is New York. Sometimes I hear Metropolis is New York. Sometimes I hear Metropolis is Chicago. So I don't think nobody even really knows for a fact. What city they're supposed to represent. I know there's a Metropolis in Indiana or Illinois. They have a huge, they have had in the past, huge Superman events there. So it's pretty cool. It's just a little bitty town. I actually drove through there um, one time, and there was no event going on at the time. I just happened to be driving through there, and it was really cool to be driving through Metropolis. That was neat. So anyhow, so Spider-Man became my guy. He became my superhero, my comic, my the guy of choice. And when I started collecting Hot Toys, they had made the Andrew Garfields and the Tobey Maguires, but they were so expensive I couldn't afford them. And I was able to buy the Iron Man, and I loved the Iron Man, and just fell full on in love with the MCU and the whole shooting match. So now that we finally have a respectable Spider-Man, I'm full on, head in, straight into it, right off of the cliff, into the water, getting a hold of every Spider-Man that they crank out, just like the negative suit Spider-Man. Love it. Even though it's such an unusual, ridiculously looking black and white Spider-Man, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get the Spider Noir when that comes out. I'm going to get the Velocity suit, which I'm pretty sure is going to be the next one to be announced because they've shown it at the Comic Con. I have a feeling Big Time Spidey Man is in production, only because looking at the Cos babies, they've done Big Time Spidey and they've done the Spirit Spider Man. Oh, the Spirit Spider Man with kind of like a Ghost Rider head, like the skull. Oh my god! And I think they've done a 2099. So I imagine that's where we can envision Spider-Man going from there. And what's also nice is they're not expensive. Okay, Iron Man figures, diecast figures, what 350, 400 bucks, brand new from your distributor, and these guys are like 250. So they're inexpensive in that regards, and they're a higher quality than picking up like a 12-inch Spider-Man doll from the toy store that you can buy for 10, 20, 30 bucks or whatever. So if you are a 1/6 scale collector and you want a high quality figure, you can't go wrong here. If you're just wanting any figure at all, you can buy them for a fraction of the cost. I go to Walgreens to get my medications and my wife's medications, and they sell little Spider-Man guys there, little 12-inch Spider-Man dolls, and they're nowhere the quality that this is, but they're the same scale. So, whatever floats your boat in that regards, if you want a high quality museum masterpiece series piece, even though these are called the video game VGM video game masterpiece pieces, they're still, I mean, they're just amazingly detailed. All of this stuff that they come with, it's just a fun hobby. I love it. Um, I think I'm pretty much at the point now where all I want to do now is just pose them a bit, and then we can talk about anything else you guys want to talk about, like we always do. You guys run the show. But the suit is really bunchy. We'll take this. I don't want to damage this. Afraid I'm going to break that. Posing him about. So what's neat about Spider-Man, and again, I don't know if I would attribute McFarlane for being the most posiest guy, but um, the object is to be able to try to get Spider-Man into these most ridiculously articulated positions. And I can't get this leg up any higher than that. All right? That's as far up as he's going. goes out. And that's as far back as it's going. So he's not necessarily really articulated in that manner. You can't end up putting him into like this crazy Spider-Man swinging thing where his feet are all the way up around his head. It's not going to happen. Not with this guy. That's as good as he gets. We have a little bit of ankle pivot there, so that's, see if we can show you. I'm going to do a left to right. All right. So I didn't move the leg a bit. I'm just moving the shoe left and right. There's that. All the way to that, which is quite a bit. Give you a front look on that. So let's see. Get the leg straight. So there's that to that. And toe up, toe down. So you get some pretty good pose there in that regards. Double jointed knee. So you can do well with him. You should be able to put him into some type of a crouching pose, I would imagine, from this. No, he's really not that bendable, posable as such. We could do him up against the wall. That should be no problem. So we can do an up against the wall pose. Shooting some web from there. He has an articulated waist and chest. We can do his falling pose as such. Matrix dodging bullets pose. Better do that. He feels stiff. I feel confident in standing him without a stand. A lot of bunched up material. So they definitely kept the tried to keep it unrestricting, but he is very restricted from what I'm able to see. There's buttons on the back flap of his jean jacket too. So right there, one on each side. So I've seen the two replacement buttons of where to go. So got buttons on the pockets, and then buttons on the flaps on the back. So that's the buttons for the replacement buttons. Iron Man line, what do I see? What I would like to see is that they because they stopped releasing the Hall of Armor suits about 2 years ago. I think the last one that they gave us was Shades, Mark 23 Shades, which was a Mark 40, only with the digital camo. And they just stopped. And there's all the ones that have been released for the most part could be manufactured, for the ones that haven't been released, except for just a handful of them. So, like the Mark 8 uses the Mark 33 and the Mark 7, and I think that's it. Maybe some Mark 17 pieces, I don't remember. I've got a video that talks about all the pieces that are required to assemble the armors. But what happened, in my opinion, is when they started going full on in the replacement of the Marks 1 through 7 as die-cast figures, most of the figures are based off of the Mark 7. Now, there are figures like the Mark 16 Nightclub, which is a totally unique figure, the Mark 37 Hammerhead, totally unique figure, and those are reliant on no other figure in order to make them. And I would have thought they would at least given us those. I have a feeling what's going to happen is that we're going to see a re-release. I hope, actually, that we get a re-release of all of the figures because of the Mark 7 diecast. I would hope that the first one that they do, in that regards, and I think this would be our first indicator if this is the case, is that they would do the Mark 21. Simple enough. It's a Mark 7 that's gold. Now, will they do it in the matte and satin finish of the original Mark 21 that they gave us? Or will they do it in the chrome finish? I would rather the chrome, but either would be fine. And I think if we get a Mark 21 chrome or a Mark 21 Midas out in diecast, I think that would be the indicator to let us know that we're going to get more Hall of Armor suits. If they don't even do that, then I think they're done with the Hall of Armor, and whatever you've got is what we have in that regards. I would hope that the next one that they would do would be the Mark 17 Heartbreaker, only because that was the one that they promised us was going to be diecast originally. When they made the announcement that diecast figures were going to be out, the Mark 17 was the one that they told us was going to be. So I would like to see the Mark 17 as the next diecast. So if we see the Mark 21 diecast and we see the Mark 17 diecast, I truthfully believe they'll all be made diecast because there's a size difference in the diecast figures versus the plastic figures. It's like as if they have to do a rescaling of them. But whether or not they would do pieces like the Mark 35 or 36 again, or pieces like the Ironmonger, or pieces like the Mark 25 and 26, Thumper, Striker, and Gamma. Whether or not those would get remade, I don't know. But all the ones that are Mark 7 based, I would see that it would be real easy for them to crank them out in diecast again. I love the Spider-Mans, but I'm going to stick with Tom Holland and get them from his films. Yeah. No, hey, I'm with you. The PS4 Spider-Man are on the fringe. They're on the edge. You know what I mean? It's kind of like with my Deadpools. You have Deadpool, and you have Deadpool 2, and that's it. All the other Deadpools are like nothing in regards to the films or to true Deadpool or to Deadpool fans of the films. But to me, I'm totally falling in love with Deadpool, and I'm like full on any Deadpool that there is. I'm cranking into it, and anything that goes along with Deadpool. So I got both Colossus from the first movie and the second movie, Steel 2.0. I've got Cable, which was the mechanic from I think it was Toys Era. Don't remember who made that. I've got the Sideshow Deadpool, which came with a head pool. I've got the head pool from Gentle Giant Bust. I've got the Squirrel pool. I've got two dog pools. I think one's a Toys R Us. Another one is with a Gentle Giant Bust. I've got the kid pool that I turned into a figure. I've got the Chibi pool, the Pikachu pool. So I'm full on the Deadpool, and I'm full on to Spider-Man because Spider-Man's cool, and but I could totally respect and understand that if you want to pass on getting them all the PS4s, you know, I'm 100% in understanding of that. Just like on Iron Man collections, you may be a full on Iron Man fan, but you may be happy with just getting the Mark 7 and the Mark 50 and the Mark 85 or something to that effect, or you may be only like a Spider-Man fan and you only want the Mark 47 because it goes in with your Spider-Man story, and I can understand that. You know, we're not all, you know, Pokemon collectors where you got to catch them all. You know, we're not all there. Silver Centurion diecast, yeah, that would be the next one. I would imagine if they started doing that, that would be the case. Silver Centurion, Heartbreaker, Mark 7 are really the main ones that feed off of the others. The Mark 2 War Machine as well feeds off into a lot of the other pieces. So most of the other pieces are created using some or all of those pieces, like the Mark 9 and Mark 20, if I remember correctly, is like a Mark 17 and a Mark 7, half of each. So you have a Heartbreaker and a Mark 7. Just cut them in half, and there you go. There's a Mark 9 and a Mark 21. But I have a feeling that they quit making the Hall of Armor suits because they're releasing them all the time because of the die-cast figures and because the Mark 7 is such a uh, prominent piece in the Hall of Armor. I was hoping that we're going to get a continuation of that. There was a picture showing us the Mark 28 Jack on, I think it was the Shades. So when the Shade was announced, the Mark 28 Jack was shown in the background of that, and that would have been the next one to come out. And it never happened. And it's black and orange, so I was thinking, oh, it's going to be released, in Halloween. We'll see it, because Jack-o'-lantern, black and orange, we'll see him pop at that point. And it didn't happen. And the next year came and it didn't happen. And the next year came and it didn't happen. And this year it came and it didn't happen. So I think all of that is going to come on down the road. That's my hope for all of that. I think it is a money spinner too. I think 100% it is. Diecast Mark III 2.0. Yeah, they need to do that too. The Mark III diecast figures were the original ones, and their scale seems to be off on them too. They could really be improved. The Mark III diecast has this really unique waist on it that enables you to really get it into the superhero pose. You literally just take the waist out, put a new piece in there that's twisted and bent just to put him into the superhero landing pose. So the Mark III diecast has the best superhero landing pose. If you wanted to pose your figures in that, you want the Mark III diecast. But the Mark III diecast just seems to be not right. It's kind of like the Mark 42, the original release Mark 42 diecast. The butt didn't necessarily work on it well. And then with the re-release of the Mark 42 with this Disney Shanghai that came out, and I wish I'd gotten one of those figures, they fixed the butt from my understanding, because the Mark 43 diecast butt is different than the Mark 42, though they're the same figure, or the same Iron Man suit, only different colors, red and gold, gold and red. The butt action is different on the 43 than it is on the 42, but I think the re-released 42 has the 43 butt. If that makes any sense to you, you know exactly what I'm talking about. 31. 31. Is that the piston? 31. What's 31? 31, that's the piston, right? That's like the teal colored one, right? 6.7, 35, 31, 30. That's the piston, right? It's kind of like teal colored. But yeah, I would like to get the entire House Party Protocol. And again, not to sound hypocritical, because I'm not. I will 100% buy all these figures again. All the ones that I have to sell, I will buy again. It's going to cost you some money, because I'll end up selling them for X dollars. And PayPal and eBay, they're going to take their fees out of that. Pay my doctor's bills. And in a year's time, I'll be back in the same position that I can rebuy those figures. And I'm going to pay more for them, because they're going to go up in more value than they are now. So, don't judge me, please, in that regard. Just know that life has really kicked me right between the legs pretty hard. It really kicked my wife the hardest, but it's affected me, as you can imagine. And, I guess I've always thought to myself I could sell these for one or two, but I really don't ever want to sell them. But I need to sell them. I either have to sell these or sell my Bumblebee Camaro. And I really don't want to sell my Camaro. But I would sell that either also. But so in all actuality, truthfully, if you're looking to buy a Camaro, I'll be happy to sell that too. It's 2010 2SS RS CTH edition, one of the first ones that came off the assembly line. So it's a low-numbered Transformer edition Camaro, and I would sell it for $20,000. 36,000 miles on a 10-year-old car, runs like a top. It's perfect condition. It's excellent condition, actually. It's in showroom condition. So if you want a Transformer Camaro, an honest-to-goodness officially licensed Hasbro product, straight from Chevrolet with the CTH badging for the Transformer edition, I would sell that for $20,000. And I don't want to sell that either. But I don't want to be put in the poorhouse because of the doctor's bills. So, anyhow, what else is going on with you guys, man? It is life, and needs must. I, it just seems so stupid, you know? It's like, well, why are you buying figures if you need to sell the figures for money? Because I've made the obligation to get the figures in the first place. You know, I've put a deposit down on these or such. And, you know, I don't want to lose the 20, 30, 40 bucks or whatever that I've given them. And I really want the figures. And canceling pre-orders isn't going to give me $4,000 in a matter of weeks that I need to pay these doctor's bills. So I certainly don't need them going into collections. Because I surely don't need them screwing up my credit. So work hard to get a good credit rating, to be able to buy nice things. And I plan to keep it as such. So, selling figures. Anyhow, guys, anything else? What else you want to talk about? Next week, I'm going to be unboxing. I hate to say that. It makes me sound like such a freaking hypocrite. The uh, movie premiere edition Spider-Man, which is the exact figure from the spider suit that's in all the 5 movies that Tom Holland was in. Captain America Civil War, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, Spider-Man Far From Home, and Spider-Man Homecoming. He wore this same suit in all 5 of those movies. So the original version of it came with a head sculpt. The movie promo edition does not. So I will open that next week. I also received, I'm pretty sure these are the scroll heads. So I don't know when I want to do these, but pretty sure these are the scroll heads. I bought 3 little scroll heads, and I want to just pop them on different figures because, you know, the scroll are well, you know the story with the scroll. The shape change, and you know the big thing about Nick Fury, right? Which was a fan theory. Is Nick Fury really Nick Fury? Or is Nick Fury a Skrull? There's obviously a real Nick Fury. Which Nick Fury are you talking to? Is he a Skrull agent? Yeah. Or is it Nick Fury? Huge fan theory that they addressed in Spider-Man Homecoming. Or Spider-Man Far From Home. I thought that was really cool how they did that. Which makes me think about Phil Coulson. Was the Phil Coulson that was killed in Marvel Avengers? Skrull agent. Because in Captain Marvel, Phil Coulson was a Skrull agent. 100%. Right? So maybe the Phil Coulson that got killed on the helicarrier was a Skrull agent, not Phil Coulson. So I guess I'm going to wrap this up. You guys got anything else for me? Thanks for coming in. Thanks for stopping. Share these videos. Subscribe to the channel. Check me out on Facebook. I have 1/6 Scale News and Reviews. Dude, you guys are welcome to post to that too, by the way. I think I've got that channel fully open. If you want to use that to show off your kit bashes, anything you see coming up that I haven't posted on yet, throw it out there, man. Pretty sure I got that channel wide open to be used. Throw your albums up there. Show your pictures on there. Anything that has to do with 1/6 Scale news and reviews, put it up. I mean, news and reviews covers everything. So if you have a collection, that's news. If you have a kit bash you made, that's news. If you see someone selling something that I haven't talked about yet, throw it up there. Hell, if you find more information on something I have talked about, throw it up there. I'm my understanding that Facebook page is wide open for you guys to do whatever you wanted to as well. 1/6 Scale News and Reviews. I have a Patreon. If you wish to donate to my cause, hey, I promise nothing out of it, but you can do $1, do any amount you want. So I'm going to wrap this up, let you guys go. We've got a repair guy coming out today. The hospital bed that we bought for her that she sleeps in the living room is not functioning properly. It's not raising up properly. So there's a guy coming out today to fix that. So he's supposed to be here between 8 and 11. So I imagine he'll be coming shortly. We've got to get that fixed. Brand new hospital bed. Click, 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 click. It makes a sound as it moves, and it's not supposed to. Anyhow, thanks for tuning in. Love every one of you. Thanks for your time. I'll respond to any posts or messages that you send me. If I don't respond, then don't give up. I haven't seen it yet. Hit me up again. Message me through instant message or whatever. But definitely figures are going up on eBay today. Love you guys. See you next week. Peace out.